and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a done. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a done. Lesson is another in the series of break it down in order to build it up. Do Hast. That's the song we're going to be looking at. This was actually something I did with one of my students. He was asking me about it, telling me how just had the damnedest time getting this rhythm down. Part of that was because, or I guess the biggest reason, is some of these chords that happen come in on upbeats. So a lot of people have struggle with changing chords on the upbeats. So when you're listening to the song, it might be deceptively difficult or complicated. Rammstein does a lot of very rhythmic stuff, and one of the things that make it sound pretty neat is like the idea of syncopation. Basically, things seem kind of off when you're playing it or even listening to it. So like, yeah, there's a lot of changes that happen in, say, not obvious places, things you wouldn't feel naturally when you're learning these kinds of things. But yeah, chord changes happening on the upbeat make it a bit strange for a lot of people. So we're going to break this down in order to build it up. So the first thing I recommend people do when getting this song down is learn just what the rhythm for the main riff is. It basically carries across through the entire song, small little variations. But what you see on the screen in the tablature right now, that's the main thing to start with. Learn that rhythm. Be able to count that rhythm. Be able to say what that rhythm is. Because if you can't say it, you can't play it. That is one of the most important things I was ever taught. If you can't say it, you can't play it. So, that's what we're going to start with. What the count is. What the rhythm is for this riff. So in looking at it, we have 4 eighth notes in a row. So each one of these is an eighth note. And that happens in one beat. So that's beat number 1, that's beat number 2. This is beat number 3. We got some reverse gallop going on here. So we got 2 16th notes and an eighth note. 2 16th notes and an eighth note. So 2 reverse gallops right there. Go back into eighth notes or a reverse gallop, and then we have 4 16th notes. I got the strumming direction put in here to make it easier to learn and be able to play and strum at the appropriate tempo. So most of it's downstrokes. It's really when we have the 16th notes coming in, that's when we have the occasional upstroke. So counting along with the metronome at 60 beats per minute, what we have. 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a done. Again. 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a done. Now applying the chords, I'm going to palm mute this entire thing. And if you need to know how to get really good sounding palm mutes, recommend go watch the palm mute accent pattern number 1 lesson. That goes into a lot of detail on how to get the best sounding palm mutes. Check that out if you need to know how to do palm mutes. Again, that is palm mute accent pattern number 1. All right, I'm going to count off 4 this time, so you know when I'm going to start, so you can follow along. And again, be able to say this. You need to be able to say this to really make it easy to play. So, here we go. Say it first and then apply the chords. 1, or the chord, because we're just staying on the E5 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a done. Now at the speed of the song, 120. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a done. So that was the rhythm for the main riff. Main riff that opens the song is right here. So we got your 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a. So there is that chord change, upbeat of 4. That's where you can get tripped up. So the student who I worked with on with the song, that's what he was talking about. That change right there, hitting that chord on the upbeat, kind of tripping him up. And that's a common thing that happens when you learn this stuff, where you have, we'll say, odd chord changes, odd placement for the chord changes. So again, these 2 bars, that is the rhythm we just looked at. So we do this once, twice, 3 times, and then this part is the same rhythm as that part. So there's what I mean by a little variation. So basically, this rhythm is done 2 times in a row. We don't do this exact same pattern the whole time, but it's like really just a matter of we're playing this rhythm or we're playing that rhythm. So let's listen to how this goes in the song. Back to the metronome. 60 beats per minute. Count of 4. Here is that riff. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a. Now the speed of the song, 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 2 and 3 and 4 and up. Now if you're wondering, do you really have to count it when you're playing it that fast? No. But if you can, it's going to be extremely helpful. Definitely at the 60 beats per minute. Be able to do it at 60 beats per minute so you can really internalize what this rhythm is. Absolutely be better off having done all that counting at the 60 beats per minute at least. You can definitely go faster if you feel comfortable doing it. But doing it at 60 so you can really get a good strong feel of the rhythm as you gradually work it up. 5 beat per minute increments. Or less, that's always a good way. I wouldn't go more than 5. Again, if you can say it, you have a much, much better chance of being able to play it. But if you can't say it, you can't play it. It's good luck. Good luck. Now back to getting used to that rhythm. Something else you can do, instead of just staying on that E5 chord the entire time, you can use these chords that are on the screen right now. They are associated with the song, and it might add some good variation in your practice, so you're not getting too tired of hearing the same chord the entire time. So working up this chord progression can be very helpful in getting this rhythm down. Here it is at 60. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and a done. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 a done. So let's start breaking this main riff down even more. We're just going to look at this portion of the riff. Basically, we're just going to take small portions of that riff and single it out. So anytime you're working on something that's giving you trouble, you can single out the section of the song or riff or whatever that is giving you trouble. That can be very helpful. Working up small pieces of the entire riff or song or whatever that's trying to get down, working out small portions of it. Great way to break things down to build it up. Because when you try and do too much at once, you usually don't get too far. Now, if you're not getting anywhere with whatever you're trying to learn, not getting anywhere, yeah, you're definitely trying too much at once. And you need to simplify, break things down further and further and further until you're able to start making progress again. Let's play this part at 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Yeah, we got those slides happening right now. So if you're not used to doing slides, basically you just got to make sure that you continue to hold pressure down on the strings as you're moving. So here, the slide into the new chord happens on the upbeat of 1 right here. So we got 1 and, think of it like 1 slide, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 or and slide. So it is a pretty fast motion you have to make when you're doing the slides, because we don't want to just back and forth like slowly like that. It's got to be boom, 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 really quick. So if you're not used to doing slides with power chords, I would just practice that. And the other way. Very good thing to practice if you're not used to slides. Alright, so let's continue on with the metronome. At 120, speed of the song. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this section, that might cause people some real trouble. We're going to focus on that part. That section over and over and over and over again. 4 times in a row, really. So it might be pretty tricky, but if you get this down, putting it back into the actual song, it's going to be a lot easier. Alright, so let's play this part, starting at 60. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 120, speed of the song. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. A big part of this is to help show you different things you can do to break down really anything that you want to work on. That being said, if you do have something you're stuck on, if you do have something you want to get faster, you just can't reach whatever speed you're trying to make it to, tell me what it is you're stuck on. If you got the tabs for it, even better. Send that over. Let me know what section of the song or whatever it is you're working on. Let me know what you're stuck on. Let's see if we can put together another lesson like this to help you break things down in order to build them up. Did that sound salesy and cheesy? Probably. Well, there you go. But yeah, I like doing this stuff. I think it really helps people because one of the biggest issues students have that I've noticed in working with so many people is that just knowing how to practice can be kind of a mystery for a lot of people. They just don't know exactly what to do in order to move forward. So when it comes to things like this, I do want to help you guys understand, again, how you can break it down to make things easier to make progress. Because when you're not making progress, usually it means like you're either practicing something too difficult, or perhaps it's just the way you are approaching the material. A lot of times, if you just start simplifying things until you find that progress can start moving forward again, that's really a big key to being able to make efficient practice happen. You gotta simplify things enough so you can start making progress. Because if it's too difficult and you make zero progress, you're not doing yourself any favors. It's actually making things worse. But if you end up playing things that are too easy, you also don't make progress because you're not pushing yourself to grow. So there's a middle ground that needs to be found there.